a lot of people in Brazil say, well, the path that South Korea took is perhaps what we should have taken. Do you agree that it could be transferred there? You know, the lessons could be learned.
Oh, absolutely. Different. They are very similar. However, there were two critical differences. One is that Brazil didn't pay as much attention to export as South Korea did. And as a result, whenever the economy started growing, you experienced a balance of payment problem because as a developing country, you need to import a lot of machines and new technology.
And oil.
Yeah, and of course at the time oil. So whenever you started growing, you hit the balance of payment problems. Now, South Korea was not unfree of those problems. You know, I mean, don't forget that when Brazil was hit by the debt crisis, South Korea escaped it just about. I mean, it was the fourth largest foreign debtor in the world at the time after Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina. But it built a lot of export industries. So it found it easy to finance all these imports. And people were more willing to lend to it because they knew that this country could export. Now, Brazil, I mean, in relative terms, neglected export industries. So that kept creating all these macroeconomic problems, which then ended up in hyperinflation. So
and the other factor?
The other factor is
education.
No. I mean, that is what every country should do. But yeah, the interesting difference is that Koreans control foreign investment a lot more heavily than Brazil did. So Brazil, for example, in developing the car industry, basically worked with Ford and Fiat. Yeah? But there was no ambition to grow Brazilian technology in automobile. In the Korean case, yes, we also started with joint ventures with Ford, Fiat, and General Motors. But then at some point, to be precise, in the early 1970s, the government announced that from now on, we want car companies to develop their own models. And any company that isn't willing to do that will cancel the license. By the late 1980s, Korea became one of the 6 or 7 nations in the world that could actually design its own engine. And then now it's basically operating with its own technologies. And that, I think, was a crucial difference because the Brazilians, of course, in the beginning, it is better to rely on foreign technology because it's superior.
But at some stage, you have to do something.
That's right, but Brazil didn't do that. And I think well, in some sectors it did, but in many sectors it didn't. And that, I think, was